we should do it.
Onto them. They'll go for KP. The GA's out. Gabby being focused as well as March. The GA's going to wear on. Gabby, he's still finding ult. DJ tries to go for the ult, but the ult scepter cancels it immediately. 23 Savage. He's looking for that IO. He's trying to kill off March and he gets it. March is dead. Gabby just finds DJ in trade. Gabby's going to have pounce again. Gets the connection. Leash in place. Double kill for Gabby. Now godlike. Gabby wants to keep this fighter going. DJ pulled back for this. He's not going to live for long. Or maybe with the frostbite he can. Gabby, he's got Shadow Knights back.
He's got to keep going.
Kills another. An absolute slaughter.
Dying, they do heavy overgrowth, locking down these two heroes. There is going to be the heavy grade. They're going to go for the sniper once again. Mickey, though, is going to be safe. They pop the ultimate as well. Guardian Angel helping them. Angel, but they do have the stun out on Magical control. Somebody's dead. Dump the Divine Reaper on the ground. Buybacks out. Koipa and Boxing going to be able to bring down Crystallize as well. Koipa on the front line just doesn't give a damn. What about the Divine Rapiers? Magical, you have no damage. Now it's going to be targeted by Koipa. Pick up the Divine Rapiers. He's dead again, and that's it. The throne is dead. Never gonna find that pick, and as soon as you think that, they do. They finally strike, they finally pounce, they get the kill, and now EG has to formulate a 3 versus 5. They're going for yours right now with Ahmed, but he's having to deal with, they actually force him into the magnetic field to be able to deal with a little bit of damage. He gets the Venn diagram, trying to hold as best he can, but it's not good enough. Take down 5 of EG, bring down their tier 4s, and BG Gaming.
Blood Rise down, Matu steps outside of it, the silence there, on to 33, he's gone. No buyback on the Legion, Nico maybe pops the BKB, tries to commit onto Matu, but they just turn a beat upon him, the Bloodseeker has to back away. Zai's diving in closer and closer, pushing them back towards the fountain. They're gonna call it, they've had enough of the pain, GG is called.
DreamLeague Season 13 is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, Mercedes-Benz, and DreamHack.
It was just a week ago that we had 16 teams coming to Leipzig. And now we have 8 teams remaining. And these 8 teams, they deserve more. They deserve a live band. They deserve a crowd, a grand stage, awesome panelists. They deserve it all. But one team deserves it a little bit more than everybody else. And that one team, we don't know who that one team is. We're gonna find out in 3 days. But we have 3 days here to go through a lot of Dota 2 with you. And it is gonna be amazing. I'm here with Grant, Cap, and Kyle. Gentlemen, good morning. We upgraded.
Indeed.
Indeed we did. How do you like it?
I like it a lot. I love the full band. Y'all are killing over there. I just love some jams. Everyone loves some jams, right?
It's a good way to wake up in the morning, you know? Like, get a little energy going with the music, hype for some Dota. Feeling good.
And we got a lot of Dota still. We saw a lot of Dota. We got a lot of Dota.
Yes.
Feels good.
Small change. There will now be 3 series per day rather than 4, so you don't have to be here at 2 a.m. in the morning. You're good. So, but we are hyped for a lot of awesome Dota today. Before we talk Dota, though, we are talking other things. And the first topic of the day is, I mean, you guessed it, probably, because we're going to talk about some neutral items. We have been left it off with tier 3 neutral items. There's 11 of those again. And I'm curious to hear you guys' opinion on what you think is the best, or the best 2 or 3 to get, and what is the worst of the tier 3 items.
This is where I think it starts to get really situational, right? Because certain games, Paladin Sword looks just bonkers because the healing amp, Telescope, same deal. I'd say best overall, you just like having on your team are probably Craggy Coat or Orbit Destruction, though.
You're not a repair kit guy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of pro players be like, repair kit is the most busted item right now.
But only if you're losing.
Yeah.
If you're winning, it's useless.
Yeah, that's true, but still, it's like, it's game-changing when you do use it defensively, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think like the best offense, for me, Mindbreaker, right? You see everyone use it. These Slarks, these PLs, I mean, if it's good on the meta carry right now, then it's always gonna be good, I think.
Yeah, Spider Legs as well for any like Rubik Earthshaker hero that requires positioning. It's all situational.
What is the worst?
Huh?
Like, what is an item that drops and you're like, oh, really?
Enchanted Quiver.
Yeah.
You don't like
I feel like that's the
Enchanted
item
Quiver?
that most of the time people are like, that's disappointing.
Yeah, it's because it's not sustained damage. So, you know, you're not really going to burst down some hero with 4,000 HP. So it's just kind of
What about Greater Fairy Fire? I thought it was one of the best items when it came out. I mean, it's just, you get 3 full charges of like a salve, but it's instant. Like, why is that?
Because by the time it comes out, it's like everyone's got so much health. It's just not relevant. Like, it's
You don't
not
think
worth a
it's
slot.
450, right?
Yeah.
450? That's a lot of health, always.
I think 350.
What I like about it is the fact that it is consumable, and ultimately items are meant to be like kind of used and phased out at some point. So that part is nice, but tier 3 is right on the cusp where you kind of are using tier 3 items the entire game, right? Like when you get that craggy armor, like you're gonna pass it off to a support at some point. He's gonna be using the entire game. Titan Sliver's hard to be able to drop. You know, like all of these items are good to have throughout the game. Greater Fairy Fire, the fact it is consumable, it's, you know, it's nice to be able to have that effect, but you kind of want something a little bit more lasting.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you do want something lasting. Everybody in life wants something lasting. And you know what? Ramses thought he found something lasting in Virtus Pro, and then that ship went, well, astray. It was a little bit unfortunate. We learned a little bit more about Taiga, about Matuma Man over the last few days, and now we're going to learn a little bit more about Ramses.
When the internationals end, I want to change my mind, some atmosphere, and we good friends with Boba, Arturo, Artizzi. They asked me if I want to join to EG. I like Boba, like coach. I think he are like smartest guy in Dota. That's why I take it.
Still used to help out Ramses. Ramses, is he going to be fine? The sleep connects. There's the first burst out. Pots the link to target. Pots BKB, but they got the melee ranks bottom. Progress for EG. They're now in onto GH. GH, BKB, Pots. He's backing away with the 2 support.
It's a little bit hard. Like I'm not the best English skills, you know, and sometimes like have troubles. But I think in Dota it's like you need simple skills for English, for communicating Dota. Like any player who play a lot of Dota, you know, like simple English skills to play Dota, like in matchmaking. Biggest difference for Russia and US team. US is very serious of it. Like they wanna play serious in all games. Like they play serious matchmaking. But in Russia and Europe, like you can do it for fun. You know?
Yeah, Ramses went from being the #1 safe lane carry of Virtus Pro to offlaner on Evil Geniuses. Already a big swap, regardless of changing regions and then changing languages as well. How do you feel like he's done so far?
It's tough, right? Because we haven't seen it too much out of him, but I mean, they're getting top 3 at majors still, right? So you're doing something right. And I think the biggest thing he said is, you know, all you need to do to play Dota is speak a little bit of English. You know, if you can just say gank here, you ping someone, flame him, call him a dumbass, that's all you really need.
It's gotten a lot better over the years, though, because when I first met Ramses, it's like he would just come up and we'd do this. That was our interaction. Now it's like actually conversations to be had. It's also really cool how involved he is in like shot calling and strategy preparation. Even when he played with VP, he drafted from time to time.
Yeah.
Compare that to another like younger superstar in Sumel. When he joined EG at first, I remember talking to them like he wouldn't even
want to watch replays, he would just watch the first 5 minutes of the mid lane and be like, all right, I'm done. Like back to crushing these guys. Whereas Ramses has way better, just more emphasis on the overarching view of the game. That's why he can swap roles too.
I think it's interesting that someone who is so strategically involved and does have such strong ideas about Dota, chose Evil Geniuses in part because of his respect for somebody like Bulba. He gets beamed on a lot, but at the end of the day, if somebody that smart at Dota is going to respect Bulba and wants to be able to join a team where he's a coach, it says a lot.
Then everyone should respect him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, glad we got that sorted out. He did call him the smartest mind. Like, it wasn't even one of the, no, it was the smartest mind in Dota 2.
Which, I mean, obviously, you're at the tournament with him, so maybe you're just saying that to stroke his ego so you get the Enchantress or something, but, who knows?
It could be. I mean, I think if you're thinking about the smartest minds in Dota 2, there's specifically 2 others that have something to say about it as well. Kuro and Puppy come to mind.
They might. No Tail, wins 2 TI. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's true.
I think ROTK would also have an argument to be made, especially watching his squad continuously just look like unstoppable.
Just dominating.
Yeah.
Agreed.
For sure. There's a lot of smart minds in Dota that people always rally around. And,
Thank you, Sheever. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. I mean, that's why we're all here. Grant's like, I want to do Dream League, and here you are. Everybody just rallies around you. Make sure you have a great show. Great show for Leipzig here too. Third topic of the day, final topic. I know you're all wondering what you guys send in. It's a community topic, and I must say you guys have not really impressed me over the last couple of days with your topics. Feel free to send in different ones. And today,
German food.
German food. Ooh. Don't laugh too hard. I mean, there's a picture of pretzels, but I don't know what the original voice is. A Laugenecke, I believe that's the name, but it's also known as a Kreutzel. It's a combination between a croissant and a pretzel.
A term that we've made up as talent,
Yeah.
combination of a croissant and a pretzel. It's quite nice. I think, living in Germany, my favorite food was always just doner. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's not actually German food, though.
It's like a
What do you
staple when we were living at Join Dota.
The best food in Germany is Turkish. I think that's all that needs to be said about German food.
Okay, I've got a question. So, in America, we're American. Bratwurst to us is German. Is that actually German?
There's no, who are you asking? Do you want me to look it up for you?
Yes,
I mean,
thank you.
the name is definitely German, right?
Okay.
Because it's Bratwurst.
Oh, yeah,
It's like a German name.
I love a
Maybe it's
bratwurst.
Austria.
Any sort of wurst is good. Everyone loves a wurst.
The bakeries and the breads are great. I actually don't know. Well, I assume it's from all the walking, because I always wonder, Europeans, in comparison to my region, are a bit more fit, right? And I look at the diets, and I'm thinking, well, they're just eating breads and meats all the time. Like, how is this possible? I'm still not really sure, but I'm told it's something to do with biking. I've never heard of that hobby, but...
I don't think you'd call it biking. I think you call it cycling. Because if you're going biking, you're like super tired. But cycling is like leisurely going to your job or something.
Well, I thought
Good
it
to
was the
know.
opposite.
What?
Or
Wait.
biking, isn't biking motorbiking things?
Yeah, I would consider if you're zone biking or cycling, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my neighborhood, it meant like...
Yeah, exactly.
Little two-wheeler.
Yeah, but if you're going biking on the motorbike, then you call it biking, and then you're still not moving, you're still not exercising. While cycling, you gotta pedal with your feet.
Kyle agrees with you 100%.
What? Just because I still had training wheels when I was 9 doesn't mean I don't know how to ride a bike now, Grant.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah. All right, Kyle. I think it's enough. Cap, could you please do the honor of taking Kyle with you? Man, could you please play Cap and Kyle out? Thank you.
Hooray, they're leaving.
All right. Cap and Kyle will, of course, be back with you very soon for the first series.
Ooh.
Spoiler, but I think that's kind of people know by now, right? The people that are on at first are also the people casting you guys.
I think you overestimate how much people pay attention, but now they do know.
Now they do know. This is great. I like it. It also means that we're getting ready to get 2 new people on, and we have a fully fresh person.
We do?
We do.
Who is it?
Well, I can't reveal that just yet. We have to wait. There's some technical things and swapping things around. Actually, we don't have to wait anymore. Thomas, if you please. Let's welcome in Cinderin and Lizard! I didn't even see that door over there. I was like, why is that door not open?
We're here, that's all that matters.
That's
Sind is
all
here.
that matters. How are you doing, Sind?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Yeah?
Yep.
What, were you surprised? Like, you're coming in and you missed like half the teams getting eliminated, right? Were you surprised by any team in particular that got eliminated that you actually thought you were going to see this weekend?
It's a bit hard to say. I thought maybe Enigma would have done a bit better than they did. That's probably the standout team that most people thought would get further. Outside of that, most stuff has been par for the course. I think 7 of the 8 teams in top 8 now were top 8 last major. So it's a lot of familiar faces and overlaps.
A lot of familiar faces.
Are you hyped with Beast Coast?
Yeah, it's always great to see a surprise story like that. And yeah.
Are they surprised anymore, do you think? Is it still just like, I mean, it's the South American region, right? So like if a team, we're just so used to them maybe being at the bottom, just seeing them at the top, it still feels like a surprise even though they're top 8 normally?
I mean, it's becoming less and less of a surprise, right? Maybe the way they got to this top 8 was a bit of a surprise. But yeah, it's true. They're definitely the standout team from that region by far. Nobody comes close right now, and it's just awesome for that region to have a team like that to cheer for right now.
For sure. We can also take a look at the brackets and see exactly which route they have taken to get to this point. I mean, it's a very big bracket, but we are getting to the tail end of it all. Yesterday, we saw our first 2-0s in the playoff bracket. We had 3 2-0s in a row, actually. I was actually thinking that Na'Vi was going to put up a bigger fight against Team Liquid. I think that was the biggest surprise for me yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are like, this magical guy, he just straight up owns middle, and he struggled a little bit. I mean, his sniper is great, but go on. What?
This magical guy that owns mid, there was, you heard us when we were casting Blitz, he made them play 1 versus 1 before the game. It was Boxy playing versus Magical's best hero. That's some mind games there. That's some Blitz next level stuff. And Boxy won.
It wasn't Liquid that instigated that 1v1 though. It was Magical saying, "Send in your champion," and then they sent in Boxy.
And then they won, and then Liquid won the
Trial by combat.
Easy.
Yeah, all right, so let's focus on our first matchup. We got IG versus Beast Coast, and I think the first thing that people should know is that these two teams in the previous major met at this exact place in the bracket, also fighting over being left behind at top 8 or moving forward. And then 1 and 2 were 1-1, and then the third game, Beast Coast was crushing it. They were winning, they were absolutely ahead, and they went for the throne. And then IG's like, wait a second, we can also go for the throne. And then IG ended up winning, and they made it to top 3. Like, they made it third in the overall major. Like, it's crazy. On Beast Coast, they already said, like, this is a revenge match for them.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, IG, like you said, one of the best in the world. I know Chris Luck really looks up to Emo because they both play this crazy style, right? Like, I mean, whenever we watch Chris Luck play, there's going to be a kill at level 2, whether it's him dying or the enemy team dying. But they are going to play aggressive, and it's fun.
Yeah, I think for me, IG is, I don't want to say a clear favorite, but they're definitely a favorite going into this matchup. If you asked me before the tournament what my 3 favorite teams would have been, it was probably Secret, Vici, and IG. So 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
IG has a long road ahead of them now, obviously, but I think they learned a lot from their loss, and they're one of these teams that can pick up momentum. They've had a lot of really good games lately, in my opinion. But I mean, it would also be amazing to see Beast Coast win, right? Like both. I feel like there's no real bad outcome here for me personally, at least. It's just
we saw Beast Coast and Enigma game, right? They were the underdogs there too. Yeah. And in both of those games, it didn't look really great for them, but the way they come back, it's just mind-boggling. Especially that second game, the way they played the Disruptor mid. If they can win versus Enigma with Disruptor mid, I mean, what's going to happen when they have a normal draft?
Yeah, exactly. And then on the other side, I mean, IG versus Vici, that was a super close series, right? Once again, it could have just gone the other way. IG could still be in the upper bracket. I remember, actually, it was ROTK was talking to someone, and he's just like, we played really bad. We straight up played bad versus them, and then, you know, they go on yesterday and 2-0 their EG, which maybe is a harder opponent. I mean, I think, would you say EG was your 4th team, or?
Yeah,
you know, like, I think IG and EG, right? And then IG just
range.
kind of plowed them over, right? They're good.
They are good. I would say, though, I mean, if you're looking at the results from the groups, IG either had an easy road or just were starting off way stronger. They had Reality Rift and Alliance, and they beat both, and they made it to the top of their group, and that's great. And then Beast Coast in the group with Vici and Secret, which, you know, it's, first of all, that's already really rough. And then on top of that, we were told that Chris was actually sick during the group stages, like he wasn't feeling good. And they didn't have the greatest showing. They beat Chaos, but then again, everybody beat Chaos at this tournament.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's the truth, achiever.
This happened. But then, you know, I felt like they had a tougher road, but then they show up in these playoff brackets, and it feels like this lower bracket is just, it's forging them, this fires.
No, they're really good at it. As you said, they play a BO1 every single tournament, and they come out on top. They just play a BO1, and they keep winning. And I mean, those are always the scariest matches, right? Like BO1, you could just be eliminated by a team who you deem way worse than you.
I think what you do going into this series as well is that you tap into that confidence that you've just gained playing something wonky, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're IG and you go into the draft, you see heroes and you start assigning them around the lanes, and you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
So if anything, I want to see more of that from Beast Coast. I don't think they should go for something like more standard where you're saying, yeah, if they can win with Disruptor mid, what if they have a real mid? Well, then it might be too predictable, and IG will just beat them at their own game. So if you go crazy, I don't think IG really draft that way. They will not try to match your craziness. They'll be very stable, strict, stick to the script. So try to curveball a little bit, and we could have a really fun series.
Yeah, I am also curious what IG's thoughts are going into this series.
We just gonna play with our style. We did watch their replays. They play really good, so we did some preparation. So let's see. Against this South American Dota, we are just going to do just playing goods in our lane, so we can do anything in the mid games.
She was like IG1 versus Chaos, but
What were you saying?
Now we're just
they're telling secrets, you know.
Maybe we'll play the next qualifier together. It's like
I saw teams being forged on the TI panel of TI7.
We're throwing Shiva under the bus. That's what we're doing. We're like, what did you really say that, Shiva?
Yes, I did. I stand by it too. There is actually physical facts of that. But yeah, IG seems ready. They're going to play their style. They're just going to continue doing what they've been doing, and it's been working out for them. But we always look, or rather, I always look when I look at a team and a tournament. You kind of want, you know, the upline. You want to improve game by game, day by day. Have we seen that from IG?
I mean, they just took a legitimate dump on EG, so I would say, yeah, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they lost a series that was really, really difficult. Yes. It's the only one they really...
Real close one.
Yeah, and it was close. So, like, based on that, based on what they showed in that series, a top 4 finish is likely. And
Agreed.
if you want to get to a top 4 finish, there's 2 more series to go at least, right?
You can see a couple of these teams, like them, like TNC, just constantly improving after dropping to the lower brackets. They just don't even look like the same team. In the group stages, yeah, it wasn't really great for them. Comes playoff also they were struggling a little bit, but the moment they hit the meta heroes, they understand what they need to pick. It's a completely different story.
So what are we going to focus on here for this matchup to come? Is there any kind of, like, the mid matchup? Is that where we're going to look to Emo versus Chris Luck? Is that the game?
It probably
That's
is.
my favorite one, yeah. I mean, just the pure aggression, right? Like, IG, we say they're pretty standard, like, in their drafts, but their play, Emo is just, he wins or loses the game for him often. Like, he'll just dive a mid tower, and he's dead for 110 cents. And his team probably doesn't even know he doesn't have buyback.
I'm just afraid for Beast Coast a little bit, because things such as Disruptor mid or that Brood Mother mid, they work in one series. They don't work constantly because teams watch it and they adapt to it. So maybe they will have to go for those more standard drafts.
It's possible. I mean, it's a best of 3, right? So maybe you go in with something stable, or you go in with something crazy, and then you adapt on the fly. I don't think you have a game plan for like 2 or 3 games. You can't really do that in Dota anyway.
Usually just game 1, right? Like you plan for game 1, you see what happens, and then you just toss it out the window.
Exactly. Yeah, I really agree with the emo factor for IG. I feel like he is probably the player to watch. When this team really pops off, it mainly comes from Emo and Kaka just making tons of moves together. Lots of experience, obviously, from Kaka in shot calling in the games. He's played a lot of very high-stakes matches, so a lot of these players in IG are a little bit younger and less experienced, but they don't really look like it a lot of the time. They look like they keep their cool and they can recover from bad situations, so I have a lot of confidence in them because of that.
There's a big difference as well between these two teams where one has Super as a coach, experienced player, and Beast Coast does not have a coach at the moment.
And they don't want one.
They don't
From what I've heard,
one.
they don't want one. It's kind of a thing, like, it gets into your head, right? All of a sudden you get other ideas from the outside. You stop playing your game. I mean, I'm sure you've had
ideas,
coaches.
right?
Yeah, exactly. They got plenty. I mean, you both have played on teams, right? Have you ever, like, we need a coach, and then like a week after you got the coach, you're like, oh God, why did we get this guy?
It's just trying to blame someone.
Yeah.
Coming from a player that has lost quite many qualifiers and tournaments, it's just, you try to blame it on something. It's simple, you suck, that's it. Coach isn't going to help you if that's the case. But for Beast Coast, not only do they not have a coach, they're also playing with the stand-in, and they're still looking great. So these guys are on fire. They're definitely skilled.
I think, I mean, looking at their games, I would say Whisper should be maybe a little bit worried right about now. Leela says, I feel like he's fit in perfectly. Like his style is just, it's working for them.
Yeah, and if you like watch how they play and like you go, he just does his own thing. Like he communicates very little. He just plays his own game. But if you're watching in game, you're like, is that really how it is? But it is. He rarely talks.
He just does what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Need more of those players.
We do. Just get in there, you know, no talking. I'm sure you guys are sick of your pubs just constantly talking 24/7 instead of just playing the damn game.
There's good and bad talk. There's a lot of bad talk in pubs. Sometimes you prefer the quiet, and sometimes there's not enough talking.
Yeah.
So.
I would imagine the challenge is to do the same even when you're winning or losing, because if you're starting to be more quiet when you're losing, it's like a downward spiral, right? Yeah. So you gotta find a balance, and that's a great point. A coach can help you with that. You know, he can help you with.
Or a player, someone like Notail, someone that's uplifting, someone that has that attitude that can lift the spirits up of the team when the times are bad. Like Cinder knows, sometimes he's losing pubs, he hears a harmonica in his ear, he is instantly winning afterwards. It can happen.
But that is, I feel like that is a really good point, though, that like a lot of the times when we talk about the game, you talk about the gameplay rather than the mentality inside the game. It's very important that your team doesn't break down. And I think, to me, that's one of the absolute most standout things you can see in, for example, episodes of True Sight. Like what happens in games, what happens between series. Teams can pull miraculous comebacks, but only if they're playing for them. Yeah. And if you break yourself, if the opponent's already beating you and you beat yourself too, the game is over. Yeah. Like you always need to be able to look for something in the game. Even if it's a 10% chance play, you play that. It's better than nothing. And that's something that OG, for me specifically, has been incredible to watch with their ability to recover almost impossible games. And we've actually seen that from a couple of the teams here as well. For example, Nigma had some ridiculously hard games at the minor that they somehow won the finals 3-1. Did not look like that should have been the outcome, but you know, the most experienced and best players can do it under pressure.
And it's funny, right? During the minor, everyone was talking about like, oh man, it's just going to be a death ball meta, and now games are... We're averaging like 45 to like 60-minute games now. Just all it takes is one team to show something.
Yep. All right, guys. Remember, during the game, you guys will be able to vote for MVP. And there's a lot of commands. It's hashtag and then the player names. Here they all are. Everybody's name is spelled the way you think it's spelled, so you're good. You think you're going to be? I think you're going to be okay with that one. We'll reveal the results after the game. It's hashtag player name, and then every game separate. And you can only vote once the game is actually going on. So hold your horses for now. But the game will be going on very soon. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.